This is a stimulus check update and daily news report. Got some big breaking news. The voting rights legislation failed in the Senate because of two votes. You probably know who those two votes are. I'll give you the reactions from both the Democrats and Republicans and what's going to happen moving forward. President Biden gave a big speech talking for almost 2 hours to reporters, and he concedes with the child tax credit, which means it's not going to be as much or it may not come out at all because of Joe Manchin. I'll give you the latest stimulus check news like this. $1,261 worth of stimulus check available to millions of Americans. Find out if you are eligible. And new moms to get $900 in monthly payments and pilot program. See if you're eligible. Also, a representative has just been entered into Congress, and she is the one who was pushing for $1,000 per month checks. I'll give you more details on that and some other important updates. Hope you're having a terrific Thursday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 out to my subscribers. I'll talk more about that later on. But first, Virginia parents file lawsuit against Governor Youngkin over executive order ending mask mandates in public schools. So it seems like a few states are doing a few different things. So in Virginia, masks are not mandatory or mandated in public schools. And then indoor mask mandate approved by Milwaukee Common Council. So certain cities are enforcing mask mandates. Some are going against mask mandates. What are your thoughts on that? Mask on, mask off? What is your opinion on wearing a mask? Let me know down in the comments below. Then we also have get free at home COVID-19 tests. If you go to covidtest.gov, you could order free at home tests right there. So I think it's 8 per month. So more details on that, covidtest.gov, if you wanted to get some tests. And then this is big news right here. So Sheila Sherfilis McCormick sworn in as Florida's newest member of Congress. So the reason why this is a big deal is because she was pushing for, so Florida Democrat wins special election after promising $1,000 checks. So she said that she wanted anybody with less than $75,000 per year to get $1,000 per month checks. That promise is what got her into office. Now that's just for Florida, not like a federal national $1,000 per month, but just for Florida. So I'm really curious how this pans out, because this could set a precedent where anyone who wants to get into office could promise $1,000 per month checks, $500 per month checks, and get a vote. And this could happen countrywide. We'll see. Also, with stimulus checks, 2022 is starting with a COVID surge and high inflation. Could that mean more stimulus checks? So when it comes to a big general fourth stimulus check, we're still not there yet. The Omicron variant is taking over, and I've shared a few articles saying that Israel's saying that the vaccines are not effective towards Omicron, which means Omicron is doing its thing regardless of whether people are vaccinated or unvaccinated. Why there could be a fourth stimulus check? Well, we'd probably have to see higher inflation and more of a lockdown before we get to a general fourth stimulus check. We're still not there yet, and Democrats still can't seem to pass anything in the Senate due to Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, which I'll get into in a moment. Another article right here, $1,261 worth of stimulus check available to Americans. Available to millions of Americans. Find out if you're eligible. So this just came out an hour ago, and I like sharing these type of articles to break up all these myths. So this is a weird one because it's just talking about Social Security checks to people who are getting COLA, the cost of living adjustment increase. So this has nothing to do with stimulus checks at all. Also, another one, millions will get automatic $125 payment after they file their taxes. See if you're eligible and how to file. So this is what's going on in the state of Indiana. They had too much money in their budget. They got a surplus. So now everybody who files their taxes in 2022 is going to get $125 just for filing their tax return. I think the same thing is going to go on in California. We don't know how much. They get a lot of money too. Actually, a few other states are doing that. I'll go over that in a future video. New moms to get $900 in monthly payments in pilot program. See if you're eligible. So this is new. So new moms in Washington, D.C. are getting extra help in the form of guaranteed income worth $900 a month. On January 13th, the mayor of D.C. announced this, and it's going to... So it's going to be $900 per month for 1 year to 132 new and expectant mothers. in Washington, D.C. And then Manchin aims to restrict child tax credit eligibility and Build Back Better. So Joe Manchin wants to have a work requirement, meaning that any parents who are getting the child tax credit will have to have a W-2 or some form of income, and then cap it at $75,000. So anyone single, and probably $150,000 as a couple. Anyone over that won't get the child tax credit. So that's what Joe Manchin wants, but it doesn't even look like there is a Build Back Better to put it in. And Democrats aren't even talking about having that as a standalone bill. So President Biden says he's not sure that he'll be able to renew monthly checks to parents in his big bill. So even President Biden saying it doesn't seem likely that the child tax credit is going to happen, despite all the promises maybe a month ago that it's Build Back Better is going to pass by Christmas and everyone's going to get their child tax credits January 15th and on. Doesn't look like that is the case, mainly because of Joe Manchin, and Joe Manchin causing a lot of problems for President Biden in general. So when it comes to voting rights, so Biden, Schumer respond to major setback after filibuster vote fails in the Senate. So I think we all saw this coming, and a lot of the Democrats are blaming Republicans for this, although they're not really pointing out the real reason why this happened. So Biden says he was profoundly disappointed that Senate failed to stand up for our democracy. I mean, can't say we didn't see this coming. Also, Chuck Schumer put out a tweet after the vote saying inaction is not an option on voting rights because Republicans blocked these bills that protect the right to vote. We're going to vote on changing Senate rules for these bills. The Senate must choose in favor of our democracy, and the Senate must stand up and defend voting rights. So I think it's funny here saying because Republicans blocked these bills, it wasn't the Republicans, it was Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. So it was a 52-48 vote, which means all Republicans voted against it, all Democrats voted for it, with the exception of Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, which they even pointed out what they were going to do that too. Senator Mitch McConnell said that Democrats who voted with Schumer supported shattering the soul of the Senate for short-term power. Fortunately, a bipartisan majority saved the Senate and ensured that millions and millions of Americans' voices will not be silenced. So it's really interesting to see the dynamic between the two Democrats and Republicans on voting rights. It's either definitely for it, definitely against it. Here is more information on that voting rights, plus President Biden's speech that he just gave.
Good evening once again. I'm Ali Velshi. It's day 365 of the Biden administration. Just moments ago, an attempt by Democrats to change filibuster rules to pass voting rights legislation failed in the United States Senate. Both Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema joined all 50 Republicans to block the move, and we will have much more on that in just a moment. But first, with the president's first year in office at an end, he heads into year two, highlighting his successes with an eye toward turning his outstanding goals into successes. This afternoon, Joe Biden held his second solo news conference of his presidency in the East Room of the White House, taking questions from reporters for nearly 2 hours. He defended his handling of the pandemic and the economy while acknowledging the stalemate that some of his top priorities and offering a warning about Russian President Putin's next moves.
It's been a year of challenges, but it's also been a year of enormous progress. We went from 2 million people being vaccinated at the moment I was sworn in to 210 million Americans being fully vaccinated today. We created 6 million new jobs. For all this progress, I know there's a lot of frustration and fatigue in this country.
Did you overpromise to the American public what you could achieve in your first year in office?
I didn't overpromise, but I have probably outperformed what anybody thought would happen. I did not anticipate that there'd be such a stalwart effort to make sure that the most important thing was that President Biden didn't get anything done.
Is there anything that you are confident you can get signed into law before the midterm elections?
Yes, I'm confident we can get pieces, big chunks of the Build Back Better law signed into law.
Can you now lay out your strategy to protect voting rights?
Well, I'm not prepared to do that in detail in terms of the executive orders I may be able to engage in and other things I can do. We have begun to organize in ways that we didn't before, the communities beyond the civil rights community.
When you were in Geneva in June, you said to us about President Putin, I think the last thing he wants now is a Cold War. Now, since then, of course, you've seen him gather these troops, 100,000 troops around Ukraine.
I think he still does not want any full-blown war, number one. Number two, do I think he'll test the West, test the United States and NATO as significantly as he can? Yes, I think he will.
Now back to the voting rights. I hate to say it, but Joe Manchin told you so. So if we look at this, Joe Manchin sees no use in holding a vote on voting rights that is almost certain to fail, thanks in part to him. So Joe Manchin said that he's not going to support it, although Chuck Schumer was very passionate, saying win, draw, or lose, he's going to have a vote. But I think we all saw this coming. So here is Bernie Sanders talking more with his passion about voting rights and what's going to happen.
Is changing the Senate rules a radical idea? Oh my God, first time in history we're about to do it. Never been done before? Oh, well, really not quite. No, as every member of the Senate knows, the rules get changed on a fairly regular basis. Nothing radical about it. Just a few months ago, in order to raise the debt ceiling and prevent our government from defaulting on its loans, the rules were changed so that a 50-vote majority would prevail. We changed the rules appropriately, and we prevented a default and a massive worldwide depression. Just a few years ago, my Republican colleagues who were so adamantly against changing rules, well, my goodness, they changed the Senate rules to allow 50 votes to confirm the president's nominees to the Supreme Court. Oh, my goodness, how shocking. And they got 3 conservative Supreme Court justices as a result. Rules get changed around here all of the time. And maybe, just maybe, we might want to change the rules in order to save American democracy.
Speaking of Bernie Sanders, in one last question in President Biden's speech where he was talking to reporters for 2 hours, President Biden calls Bernie Sanders a socialist and says that he is not Bernie Sanders. Take a look at this.
None of them make a lot of sense to me, but
well, let's try.
Fire away. Come on.
A new year. Why are you trying so hard in your first year to pull the country so far to the left?
Well, I'm not. I don't know what you consider to be too far to the left. If in fact we're talking about making sure that we had the money for COVID, making sure we had the money to put together the bipartisan infrastructure, making sure we were able to provide for those things that in fact would significantly reduce the burden on working class people, but make them, they have to continue to work hard. I don't know how that is pulling it to the left. If you may recall, you guys have been trying to convince me that I am Bernie Sanders. I'm not. I like him, but I'm not Bernie Sanders. I'm not a socialist. I'm a mainstream Democrat, and I have been. And mainstream Democrats have overrun me. If you notice, the 48 of the 50 Democrats supported me in the Senate on virtually everything I've asked.
President Biden just can't seem to get things done, so we'll see what happens with that. What are your thoughts on what he had to say there? And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell her something that you should do. But when you want to do something and you want to do a goal, then believe in yourself. Like if you want to ride a bicycle, drive a car, or do anything that you want to do, you have to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself with your mind. Or if you don't believe in yourself, you won't get it right. So, and also there's something else I wanted to tell you. you have to believe your dreams in order for your dreams to come true. And that's all the suggestion that I wanted to say. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. So as I mentioned before, giving out the $200 checks, I have details to all that down in the description below. Thanks again for all the support on my other channels too, my Wise Vibes and Wise Buys. Eventually, I'm going to start uploading my Wise Cents videos, which is my personal finance channel. Haven't got around to doing that, still running a lot, or doing a lot with the 3 channels so far. But anyways, if you want to check out my latest Wise Buys video, you could click up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.